Take one.
Welcome to Black in Business, where the possibilities are limitless. I'm your host, The Eunice.
And I'm Miss Gabrielle, also known as Miss G. And the purpose of this podcast, or the vision behind it, should I say, is that we want to give people that are wanting to be business owners more insight. It just kind of help bring people along the path. Whether you are just starting out or you are looking to be a business owner, we want to share our experience and hopefully it helps you along the way.
Yeah. Disclaimer: we are not saying we are specialists or consultants or any of that. We are business owners and we are talking about and sharing our experience and our what we've gained in knowledge so far, and hoping that you get something out of it in our journey, and that you come along the journey with us.
Disregard my children in the background. You're going to hear every now and then. Just want to give that disclaimer as well. There are
Life, life is life.
little people in my house, they don't know how to be quiet. So that just be prepared. I think we want to start out with giving our backgrounds to kind of let you know how we got to this space, what led us to wanting to do this podcast, and again, what is our hearts behind the concept. So I'll start. So I have a military background. I served in the Air Force for 8 years, which was not my ministry, which is why I got out. And I also was in telecommunications, which is a police dispatcher. I did that for almost 8 years. And I did that prior to having children. So once I had my oldest daughter, she's 5, I knew that the quality of mother that I wanted to be, I couldn't be that working in corporate America. I am by no means speaking down on people that have a job. If that's what you want to do, listen, live your best life. But because I wanted to be a certain type of mother and I wanted to be active in my children's life, that didn't make sense for me. So I became a business owner. Excuse me. I actually saw our business model when I was 6 months pregnant with my daughter. And I just really love being on this side. I feel like there are so many things that I've been able to learn since I've been a business owner that I didn't have access to as an employee. And I feel like that was strategic. You know, it was intentional. It wasn't happenstance by any means, but I do feel like being on the other side of it, I've been allowed to really like flourish and grow, if that makes sense. I've realized that while I was in corporate America, I was so bogged down with all the things that corporate America consists of and all of the what's the word? The mental load that corporate America brings. Um, I was really short-sighted because of the circumstances that I was in. And now being on the other side of it, I've been able to grow as a mother, as a wife, as a business owner, as a woman, just overall. And I love that for me. So hopefully all the stuff that we share, it helps the next person elevate. We are looking to bring more people along,
Yeah.
and just kind of help close that gap. Another disclaimer that I want to give.
We're going to give disclaimers.
Right. Every episode that I share my opinion, I want you to understand that it's my opinion, it's my experience, and two things can be true at once. I am very into helping more Black people close the gap and learn more things pertaining to being business owners. But that doesn't mean that I have anything against any other race or nationality. It's just that I really want to do my part in teaching other people that look like me, because systemically we haven't been given access to a lot of information. And again, that's been intentional. So I just want to put that out there, just so we're clear. I'm giving my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Eunice so she can give her background.
Well, first, I want to jump on what you just said, because that it kind of morphs into my experience. So yeah, we there is no hostility or negativity towards any other race. There is just no. There's too many of us all mixed up together, so there's no point in that. But it was it was understanding that there was so much that I didn't know, and that gave me fears about even thinking of being a business owner. And so I followed a path that was laid out for me since what, elementary. What do you want to be when you grow up? Take this aptitude test. You look like you can do this, and you know. So it was very much. I think in my time, it was just very. It was one message: go to college, get a degree, get a job. And that was what I followed, because I went to college. I went to college. I got 2 degrees now, thank God. But and I got a job. Originally, I was working in social services. If you work in social services, God bless you, because that is a very hard job. And it, to me, it felt like it never stopped. And it took a month after I left. It took a month to realize there was a world outside of that job. Um, and then so after that, I moved into teaching, also a hard job, which I love to do. Teaching is definitely, and you'll hear Miss Gabrielle say this a lot probably, is my ministry, or is that's what just naturally comes from me. Um, but just finding out that I wanted more, realizing I wanted more for my family, for my son, and for me, it started with that desire to want something more, to want something different, and then I prayed about it and asked God, like, can you take me to that next step? And that next step ended up being a job opportunity, a business opportunity, because there's a difference from business and job. And I think one day we'll hit really well on that. It may be today, but a business opportunity came up, and I was like, okay, I just prayed for that. Let me step into it, and it has taught me so much. I've enjoyed the journey. It's definitely has its challenges and its hurdles and all of that, but I'm a creative type. I'm constantly coming up with something else that I can do or that can be done, and so having my own business has really opened up that creativity. Yeah. So that's kind of I am from Texas, so that is my background too.
We are both from Texas, born and
Yes,
raised,
born and raised.
proud to be Texan.
Hmm. But I just don't live there now. I live in South America, and but you can't take the Texas out the girl. So I have my sweet tea. You will see it from time to time. But yeah, we are both from Texas, and I still love my home state, but I also love the opportunity to live and be able to work freely anywhere in the world. And right now, my world happens to be in South America. But I rep Texas wherever I go, because it's Texas and everywhere else. But yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. I'm sure all of my jewels will come out over time, but that's where I am right now. Loving creating and developing and growing a business. Yeah. But yeah.
So now that we've got the niceties out the way, I feel like we are free to dive right in.
Yeah.
So tell the people what our first topic is.
Our first topic, conditioning for the rat race. That is our first topic. Conditioning for the rat race. Can you give us a little insight into what that means?
So I actually want to hit on what you said earlier about the way that you were raised and there only being one way. I think oftentimes when you're a kid, from the time that you're in pre-K, kindergarten, Head Start, excuse me, people always ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they condition you to say things like a doctor, a singer. I want to play, professional sports. But people don't ask you, what type of person do you want to be? I feel like that's very vital. Right. Like asking a kid whose brain can only fathom so much what they want to be. It's not even about them truly wanting to be a doctor. It's about you planting that seed early on that that's the way to go. And so, like when you said it was only one way, of course, that resonated because I feel like a lot of people condition their children to believe going to school, getting a college degree, which I have a degree, by the way, but get a college degree and you go get a job. Now, I want to pose a question. Excuse me. When you get that degree and you've accrued all this debt, why aren't you getting out of school to become a business owner? Why are children conditioned to believe that getting out of school leads to a good job? Why is that the norm? Why is that the only way? When there are so many business owners, a lot of them who don't have degrees, but are very wealthy or very successful. And to say that this percentage of people are anomalies, I don't think that's the case. I think that they were just conditioned in a different way. And I really want to get a better understanding of why are more people conditioned to be employees than be business owners. Because I feel like certain demographics, especially, again, speaking from my own personal experience, the things that I saw growing up, I didn't see a lot of business owners. I didn't see a lot of people in my family that had businesses. And I feel like there are other demographics that do get that insight at an early age. Kids, teenagers have insight to how the business fundamentals work because they see their mother, their grandparents, their dad owning a business, operating a business, and they're shown how to do the same. And I feel like oftentimes with brown skinned people, we don't get that same privilege. There are some people, don't get me wrong, that did see their mom and dad grow up owning, a restaurant or owning a grocery store. But oftentimes you hear those people say they didn't really get to see their parents because they put all their blood, sweat, and tears into their business. And so I feel like there are definitely some, ups and downs, right, to being a business owner. And you have people that have like mom and pop shops and they have to put everything they have into their business. And so on one hand, they have the luxury, so to speak, of ownership, but at the same time, they have to miss out on birthdays and miss out on family gatherings because no one can do what they do. So why do you think that conditioning takes place?
Knowing that I am still in the process of growing as a business owner, and disclaimer, I still teach at a regular job. I am a teacher here in South America, and I still love teaching. So we are not knocking jobs. We are talking about growing as an individual into your own business. And so I do still love teaching. And one of my businesses is morphing into being an online homeschool teacher or lesson planner. But right now I do still work my 7:45 to 3:30. But why do I think that's like the norm is that of the expectation? Is that, am I getting that question right? Because
Yes.
you know me, I go on a tangent and I'll forget what the original question is.
Yes. Why do you think conditioning kids to go work a job? Why do you think that thing?
Well, I think it's twofold. I'll go with one of the what I think is a really natural piece for a society. So as a society, it's like you want it to function and work a certain way. That and thinking of how it has already been built and set up. A human or a culture or a society of people, you want it to keep functioning in that one way. So that's how you build it in. You educate for this system. You teach that this system is the right system or the best system or the greatest system in the world. You congratulate those who are in that system. We sometimes demonize those that are not, and so it's kind of almost like a reward system. If you continue to follow this, you're the right person, you're a good person, you're the best person. If you veer, that's not right. And I'm dating myself on this, but it used to be such a joke with DL Hughley about people that got their GED. So it moving to something different was not seen as positive or good. It was a joke, or it was askew from the norm. And I'm going to be transparent, and we're going to do that in our podcast. I was one of those people because I thoroughly believed that my straight path was the right one. But I did, as early as high school, begin to see I didn't have the vocabulary to know I'm being conditioned for this. But I went to the high school I went to in a highly black populated area, which I still love and still rep. Um, some of the main like electives it was auto shop, it was home ec, it was wood shop. None of those appealed to me, least of all cooking. But I didn't want to fix a car. But there were no classes that taught me investments. There was no class that taught me how to build something and create it for myself. There was no classes that could teach me that I could make something and sustain it. It was, you have these options, pick one, enjoy your life. Or it was go to the army, because I was also in ROTC. I was a corporal. Don't ask why I didn't get any higher. It is what it is. That was a long time ago. But what about you? I think I was long-winded, but for me, I think the main thing is that it continues it continues the society moving in the same direction that the society has moved in, and that's seen as good. They that's one of my two takes, but that's one I'm going to focus on. What about you?
I think it actually dates back to the industrial age. When, back years ago, working in factories was considered a good job. And so you think about, in order to get people in factories, you have to make them feel like, oh, this is the cream of the crop. This is good to get. And I think that even though we've come so far as a society, being in 2025, we still operate on that industrial age mindset, even though we are actively in a technology day and age, right? You have AI, you have computers that can do jobs, you have computers that can write papers, you have actual systems. Excuse me.
As a teacher, I'm against computers that write papers.
Right. But I'm saying somebody has come up with an actual code to make a computer function as though it has a brain. So technology is constantly, getting more advanced. They're constantly being more innovative with things. So to know that society as a whole still operates in the industrial age, I feel like that's strange. Like I think that thought process was taught to people back then. I don't even feel like it was a good thought process back then. However, it was in line with their agenda, if that makes sense. I think if more people realize that that mindset or that concept really doesn't work for them, I think there will be more people that want to be business owners. You even look at COVID, right? Look at when the pandemic hit, how many people lost their jobs. For everyone that feels like a job is security. And I was once that person. So I definitely understand. I can relate to feeling like being able to earn a paycheck every 2 weeks gives you stability. But then you have a pandemic come along and you lose a job, or you are months away from retirement, and then they furlough you or they lay you off. And now what? I feel like that was my biggest lesson, considering I was just coming into business ownership around that time. That was my biggest lesson, that a job is not security. And especially being in Texas, Texas is an at-will state. So if they want to fire you today with no rhyme or reason behind it, they can. They are well within their rights legally to do that. And then you're left to pick up the pieces. Or even the concept of having to put in a 2 weeks notice. People don't think about, you are preparing them for you leaving. But when they fire you, they don't prepare you for that. And it's jobs that will let you come in and work the full day and then walk you out with security and let you know, oh, you're being laid off, after they've gotten a full day of work out of you, because they want to get everything they can out of you before they let you go. And I feel like it's just not enough people that think about that. It's just we've become so accustomed to that's the way things are done. And you're taught that, like, if you leave a job, you want to leave in good standing. So you want to make sure you give 2 weeks notice. That way, if you need to come back, they'll rehire you. But jobs look out for themselves. So I really wish that more people would look out for themselves as well, because ultimately a corporation is going to do what's best for the corporation. So as an individual, you have to learn how to do what's best for you. Hopefully that makes sense.
It does, but it made me think of a question to ask you to present to our audience, to our people. And you know me, because as soon as I said that to give my intro, it fell out my head. But oh yeah. So what would you say would be a first step towards unconditioning yourself if you're interested in doing a business? If you're interested in having a business or being a business owner, what's the first step to get unconditioned? Because it's not going to happen overnight.
It's definitely not going to happen overnight.
We can say you're conditioned and you can be a business owner, but then they're like, well, how? What's the first step? So what would you say?
I definitely would say just starting with the norms that you grew up with, evaluating what you know to be normal, and kind of doing more of a deep dive into that. And when I say that, I mean like looking at, again, the things you were exposed to growing up and really starting to question, starting to question some of those things. Question, why didn't you see more Black business owners in your neighborhood? Who owns the neighborhood that you grew up in? Who owns those stores? The places that you used to frequent, or even the places you frequent now, who owns those? Who is making profit off of things that you need? A lot of people don't really realize that, as an individual, as a human being, you need stuff to live. And somebody is profiting off of that. If it's not you, I feel like that's a good place to start. I have to use X, Y, and Z in my house. I have to use laundry detergent. I have to use shampoo, body wash, toothpaste.
That reminds me, I have to use some vitamins.
Right. I have to use vitamins. So the things that is there a way to profit off of it? Because somebody is. Reality, it's like you have to go and purchase something or something. So people, more often than not, you think about the big retailers. It's not like you could just walk into a store that sounds like Golly World and
okay,
and make and sit down and have a conversation with the owner and say, hey, how did this come about? Like, that's not realistic. But just at how many things are in said stores that people are buying on a regular basis, and think about the profit that those big retailers are making. And just kind of evaluate, like, what can I do to redirect these dollars? What can I do? What information can I find? Who do I have access to? Who can I gain access to that can show me how to do something different? Because I definitely feel like one thing I've learned since being in business is you don't know the access that you need until you're there. Like, it's oftentimes you need access to many rooms, and people, again, don't think about the access that they need. And then you get in a room and you're looking around like, I should have been here. Why haven't I been in this room? But you're not conditioned to believe that you need access. You absolutely need access. And it's feasible to get access to other business owners, to people that are more successful than you, to people that are successful in a different realm. It's possible, but that's not something that we're taught.
I agree. And I just want to say to that, especially you don't sit down with the owners and learn something. I definitely believe it's important to get into spaces where people are, and I'm specifically talking about people of color, Black people, people that look like you, that have done it, and go and ask them, how did you do it? What have you learned? So get it to me. I'm a teacher, so I'm always gonna say, do your research. Do your research. But yes, so get in those spaces. I know I have probably 3 cousins that I can think of off the top of my head who have been in business for several years for themselves. Those were people that I can sit down with and get information from, and that's free,
Right.
because we know there's financial, time, family sacrifices to building your business, but that's a free piece right there. If you have family that own a business or that's building a business, go and be with them, ask them some background information. You
Absolutely.
can't go to that other multi-corporation owner because you don't even know who their name is.
Right. They're behind several glass doors and bars,
Yes,
gated
that's, yeah. Yeah,
situations
they are
where
they private jets. They
exactly.
that's me one day. That is me
We're
one
trying to gain access. So
day. Yeah.
absolutely don't do that. But for sure, the people that you have access to, sit
Mhm.
those conversations. Now, don't get me wrong. There are definitely some brown-skinned individuals that don't want to give you their tips and tricks. That don't want to give you insight. They want you to believe, well, I figured it out, so you need to figure it out. One thing I for sure want to make clear is we all need each other. Nobody got anywhere by themselves. And anyone that says that they did, they're lying. Somebody helped them. God created us to need each other. If we were meant to be by ourselves, it wouldn't be so many people on earth. So know that you need assistance, and that's okay. Don't feel like that makes you weak. Don't feel like that makes you less of a business owner. Don't feel like that somehow takes away from your wins or your victories, because it doesn't. You need people and people need you. So that's something you need to get a clear understanding of early on, because I feel like for people that think they don't need other people, that hinders them from growing, because you definitely need other people. Your brain can only fathom what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. But somebody else that's been living longer than you, that's been in business longer than you, that has more success in certain areas than you do, they know more than you know. So being able to pick their brain or gain access to them and just have conversations, that's very beneficial, and it helps you grow overall as an individual, as a business owner. In general, it helps you to further your journey, because now you're going to learn. And then when somebody else comes along who is in the same position as you, you'll be able to help them out because now you know more.
Right. And that's such a good point of get it in your mind. Number one, that's another reconditioning. Go in understanding that you need someone else, you need others to help you. And like us, we are business partners. I have gifts and I am happy to share those
Right.
freely and for long periods of time. And then Miss Gabrielle, she has hers. What is one piece I bring to the table? Definitely really creative ideas, unorthodox knowledge. I am a whale of creating ideas. And so that's what I think I bring to the table. What do you feel like you bring a ton. So what's something that you bring to our table?
Actually, I was going to say creativity as well. I feel like we are creative in different ways. So when you
Yeah.
think about visual creativity, being able to make things cute, or being able to visualize how certain things are set up, or what we're trying to accomplish, what emotions we're trying to evoke. I feel like I'm creative in that aspect.
100% agree.
Anything pertaining to animals, that's all you. Anything pertaining to nature, that's all
So
you.
me. So me.
Overcoming obstacles, the little hurdles that you have to step over here and there, being able to redirect and reposition yourself. Listen, that's you all day. So I feel like we both have the strong suit of pivoting, but just in different ways.
Absolutely.
And that complements, it works together because we complement each other.
I
The
agree.
areas that I'm strong in and the areas that you're strong in are different. Therefore, we fill in each other's gaps. And I love that for us.
Me too. It has been one of the best gifts I have been given as a business owner. And to know that not knowing something or not being able to do something cute and the right colors, and so like I'm so happy that I'm in a group that I have a team behind me and around me and that's okay with it. They're okay. I'm okay. But I definitely can bring up a great idea in an instant.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
can't make it pretty on a flyer. It's not my calling. And that's okay. And I need people who can help me do that. And being okay with that, being okay and honest with your weaknesses or your, the areas that you are lower in, it's being okay with that, I think, is a huge asset for you as a new business owner.
Absolutely.
It won't trip you up as much. Recapping, we've talked about how to recondition yourself. And of course, mine was get around some business owners you already know and talk with them. Treat them to coffee, treat them to lunch. If you cannot afford to treat them to anything, start making phone calls to them and check in and let them know you admire where they are in life. It's okay to give a compliment that's genuine, but hey, I admire where you are, and I'm thinking of doing this myself. Are you willing to share some of your journey with me? That's opening it up to learn more. I believe you learn something new every day.
Listen, we don't want to talk their ear out. So, you know, we want to get them just a little bit, hopefully the things that we talked about, has been helpful, but we definitely want to hear feedback. Are there any questions that y'all have, anything specifically that you want to talk about? You can drop it in the comment section, which we will check on a regular basis. We didn't want this to be twofold and interactive. We want to hear your opinions as well. Hear if this is helpful. Please be mindful that any comments that are derogatory or disrespectful will be deleted. I have no problem letting you know. We're not here for foolishness. We're genuinely trying to help people. If this did not help you, that's okay. You can keep it moving. But for those that it helps, we want to hear from you. We want to hear. Is it something that you want to say?
That no, we will be posting again next week, and we hope that you enjoyed this, that you will join the conversation, and we will see you the next time. It's back to you. What would you like to say to close us?
You said the magic word to close us out. So I want to say again, if you have found this helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. And come back to see us next Monday, because our goal and our theme for the year is we are changing lives all 2025. So whether you are just starting out or you are thinking about getting started as a business owner, listen, we are here for you. We're here to answer the questions that you got. We're here to help you overcome some things. And if you want more information about our individual businesses and how we operate in those, or just want to see what we have access to, we actually can have those conversations as well. So just let us know what you want to hear, and we are here to deliver. So with that, I'm gonna let y'all go, and we're gonna see y'all next week.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
And sing. Okay.
The recording is on you, dear.
That's gonna be cut out.
Is it though?